Granddaddy used to press fake 5-cent pieces from the ore in the side of the hill. If he'd ever realized what he had back then, I probably wouldn't be sitting right here. But he never made any more than what he'd need. Never told an area of the soul that he used to climb back there on his hands.
One of the things that I really like about interior designer is really my passion is discovery. Not so much what you can find at shows in Atlanta or New York or LA, but what you can find in the nooks and the crannies of Northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, like the basement we're about to go into now. Come on. I think the greatest thing is, like I said, I just never really know what I'm gonna find. Every trip to every place that I go that is really underground is totally different and completely unique. One of the things I love the most about the Midwest are border towns like this one. I happen to be standing in Hebron, Illinois, just a few miles south of the Wisconsin state line, outside of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. What I love about small towns like these is they're really peppered with great little antique malls and great little shops that actually I consider to be target-rich environments. If you have a little bit of time, if you have a little bit of patience, you're gonna find some great stuff. As I grew older, I started creating different shrines, and the interesting thing is I kind of still do that today. I build individual shrines in people's homes with design and love to use historical objects of interest to make that happen. You can make an amazing grid system out of this entire bats, put them together in a boys' room and a kid's room, and just make an amazing installation. Like I said, it's just all about finding great raw material that really sort of sets the tone for spaces that are really dynamic and really unique. Like here, right? Vintage, well, very vintage. Rolling pins, right? You just sort of put this as sort of, a decorative object in a game room. Use this, I cover this with a piece of glass, and then the next thing you know, I've got a great coffee table or a gaming table for a kid's room or even like a lake house. I mean, done. How much? 15 bucks. Are you kidding me? Wow, look at this. A lot of times you'll look at this material and it'll seem completely and totally rural, when if I completely change the dynamic of it and put it in a new setting, you wouldn't recognize it and it would work in even a contemporary interior. I think what separates us from maybe other design shops is that we're sort of the contracting world. You know, in 15 years I've been a contractor, a designer, a retailer, an artist. There really hasn't been anything I haven't done, and there really hasn't been anything I haven't seen. And so from that perspective, that gives us a confidence level in our design that clients can really leverage to take risks and to take chances that they would never normally take. I've never been a big fan when designers try to craft a look that they sell. I just don't believe in that. I believe that a good design professional should be a bit of a design chameleon, that I should be able to do a contemporary space and a traditional space. But either way, I should be able to bring in that personal touch that only my ideas and my appreciation for the client's aesthetic can really represent. You know, here's another example of something that's reclaimed that actually would be a really nice design element within a space where, you know, I might let my brain just kind of go crazy. I might take these columns that are oak and in really good shape, and I might use them as part of cabinetry and take new pieces so that the cabinetry is fully functional, but introduce historic elements and make it all seamlessly blend. From restaurants to basement pubs, you know, we've created some of the most amazingly detailed spaces out there. And I think one thing that has always attracted me to building these intricate environments is that clients really have this overwhelming urge to want to share the environments with other people. That's what makes it worthwhile, is when the spaces and the environments can affect people and they can create memories. You know, we've created some of the most amazingly detailed spaces out there. And I think one thing that has always attracted me to building these intricate environments is that clients really have this overwhelming urge to want to share the environments with other people. That's what makes it worthwhile, is when the spaces and the environments can affect people and they can create memories. Every time I go on these adventures, there is always a moment with some sort of object that takes my breath away. This isn't one of them. This is where moments like this, I feel like Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Ark of the Covenant. Behold, the 8-track tape. Yes, look at this. What I look for in every project is the one or two moments within a space where we can exploit something amazing and something completely different. And to be honest with you, they're probably moments most designers miss, where I'm really trying to almost do backdrop or set design for my client's lifestyle. I mean, honestly, look at all this stuff. I mean, really, I'm surrounded here in a room that's no bigger than 5 by 5, and what I'm finding is increasingly, as it becomes sort of a digital environment that we live in, right, where everything is sort of disposable, some of these great printed magazines really become really great pieces of history that are actually suitable for framing. I think another interesting observation that clients have about our firm after using us is that we, not only does our passion for their interior come through, but I had a moment very recently when we finished a commercial project. And it was a moment where we were celebrating the opening of a new restaurant. And separately that same evening, people would come up to both the owners of the restaurant and myself and say this. They would say, "Oh my gosh, Philip, what an amazing representation of the work Refined Rustic in Philip Sestano Design is capable of doing." But then separately, with me standing next to the client, a completely different person would come up and say, "Oh my gosh, what a wonderful representation." And they were speaking about the owner of the restaurant. So although people were viewing the exact same visual in this environment, it was both a reflection of us, but it was a very personal reflection of the client. That's what we go for. I mean, those are the moments you live for.
Granddaddy used to press fake 5-cent pieces from the ore in the side of the hill. If he'd ever realized what he had back then, I probably wouldn't be sitting right here. But he never made any more than what he'd need. Never told nary of the soul that he used to climb back there on his hands and his knees. Was almost 87 years old. Said he used to shine like silver. Said he used to make such a beautiful